Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This is February. This is time for our general lunchtime hour webinar, and we welcome you. And thank you for joining us. It's the start of a new year and new stuff happening, and we sometimes forget to also look after our own well-being. Today on our call is Johan Westhuizen. He's a business coach, a Gallup qualified coach as well. And we're going to talk something about the difference between wellness and well-being. He's going to lead us in that, so I'm going to give over to him, and then we can afterwards have some discussion or questions if necessary. So, Johan, Coach, over to you.
Thank you, John. Thank you for the opportunity. You know, this is a topic very dear to my heart. It's something that we more and more become aware, not just in South Africa, but all over the world. People are more in tune about what's going on in their own well-being. But there's lots of discussion about what is the difference between wellness and well-being. And that's why I want to start with that in the beginning of our conversation. Wellness is something that a lot of companies out there have a wellness program, and we have to understand what's the difference between wellness and well-being. Wellness is all about a healthy lifestyle. It refers to our physical health. People have a lot of energy and they do what they love to do. That is what we mean if we talk about wellness. Well-being is something different than wellness. Well-being is a more broader definition, and well-being is all about a life well lived. And we're going to discuss that more in detail today. And let's look at our next slide. The Gallup organization in the States, they've been doing research on well-being throughout the world for the last nearly 30 years, and they come up with 5 different areas of well-being. And they've called it career well-being, social well-being, financial well-being, community well-being, and those are the 5 areas of well-being. So what do we mean by career well-being? And you can see it underneath there. You like what you like to do every day, and that's where everything started. Are you happy in what you are doing? Are you sitting in an environment that energizes you every day? Are you looking forward to go to your job on a Monday morning? So that's what we mean by career well-being. Social well-being is also very important, and that's all about your relationships and your friendships. How are you doing in that area of your life? The one that I know that Jen will focus on a lot, because that's where the expertise lies, is the financial side, the financial well-being. And the question there is, how well do you, as an individual, manage your money? And then you have your physical well-being or your health. Do you have a lot of energy? Are you exercise? Do you eat well? Do you things like that? And the 5th area of well-being is community well-being. Are you active in the community? Where do you live? Are you living in a safe space or safe environment? Those are the 5 areas of well-being that has been identified by the Gallup organization, and we all have to look at all 5 areas. The next slide is very, very interesting, because now it's all about how many people, if you just think for yourself, how many people in the world can honestly say that they strive in all 5 of those areas in their life. And in the diagram, it's fairly shocking if you can look at that, and you can see that only 28% of people thrive in 0 elements. 22% of the people in the world thrive in one of those elements. And we can come back to that question, which one do you think people thrive in if it's only one area? Only 17% of the people thrive in 2 of those 5 areas. 14% of the people thrive in 3 of those areas, 12% people in 4, and then the shocking figure is that only 7% of the people in the world thrive in all 5 areas, meaning that 93% of the people in the world are struggling and they're having a bad time. And we can see it every day in our environment where we are busy. People are struggling, and those are one of the reasons. Only 5 areas, but only 7% of the people strive in those 5 areas. So if you look at that figure, people will say, but Johan, is it very difficult? The good news is, no, it's not so difficult to thrive in all 5 those areas, but it's more complex than just doing 1 or 2 things every day. But it's not difficult. If you really focus and you start doing the right things, and we're going to discuss some of the things that you can do today. From my experience as a coach, sitting with people about 6 months to get them to a place where they can honestly say to themselves, they start to thrive in all 5 those areas of well-being. So, yeah, where do you start? We can look at the next slide. The starting process is an acronym that I've put together. It all starts with discovery questions that you're going to have to ask yourself as an individual. And I'm going to share some of those questions with the audience today. After those discovery questions, there's a little assessment that you can do. And Jen will send that assessment out to the people that's on the call so that they can do the assessment. It's a self-assessment on those 5 areas. It's 2 questions in one of those, on each one of those areas. And you can in 5 minutes time, you can see for yourself, how do you do in those 5 areas? And obviously, after you've assessed yourself, the question is, okay, what now? What are you going to do? What are the things that you can start to put in place? And that is the reaction part of everything. And when you start doing one of those things in those areas, obviously, you have to monitor yourself and you have to evaluate yourself on a weekly basis and on a monthly basis for the simple reason to see if you are progressing, if you are doing better in yourself in those 5 areas. So let's look at those different things that we can do, the assessment, the different questions that we can ask there. So if you look at the graph there, we start with discovery. In other words, you as an individual in those 5 areas can start asking yourself some of these questions. If we look at career well-being, you can ask yourself if you are in the right occupation. Do you really like what you are doing? Do you like working with the people where you are? And you can ask the question for yourself, obviously, and your spouse. So that's one of the discovery, or a couple of the discovery questions in that area of well-being. In the social well-being area, some of the questions that you can ask is, what are some of the hobbies that you have? What are some of the interests that you have? Do you belong to some other clubs that you take part on a weekly basis or over the weekends? Financial well-being, some of the questions there, and your financial planner can help you in that area. What do you plan to do after retirement? Are you happy with the amount of finances that you have accumulate up to this stage? Are there some other financial opportunities available for you? That's some of the questions that you can ask on financial well-being. Community well-being or physical well-being, what we ask there is, do you exercise on a regular basis? What are you going to do after retirement? Are you still going to exercise? Obviously, do you take part in leisure activities, hobbies? Do you take part in sport? Those are some of the questions that you can ask for yourself. And the last one that we see there is community well-being. And obviously, some of the questions that you can ask there is, what charities do you belong to, or what charities do your family support? What type of legacy would you like to build up for yourself? And things like that, and the meaning and purpose in your own life. So those are some of the questions that you can ask yourself in those different areas of well-being, the discovery questions. So let's talk about the assessment that John's going to send through to you. I'm going to give you some examples of the questions that you're going to see in the assessment. Again, if we start with career well-being, the one question that you can ask yourself there is, do you like what you do every day? Do you learn very interesting things on a daily basis at your job and in your occupation? And you're going to rate yourself on a scale from 0 to 5 on that one. And social well-being, do you have a lot of friends that you see on a regular basis? Do your friends and family encourage you to have a healthy lifestyle? That's what we see there. Financial well-being, do you have more than enough money to do what you want to do? Do you have any worries about your finances over the last 7 days? That's one of the questions in the assessment. Physical well-being, is your physical health near to perfection? And did you exercise over the last 7 days? And the question that you're going to get in the assessment, community well-being, in the last 12 months, did you get any recognition from your community in things that you would take part in the community and be part of the environment where you stay? So those are some of the questions that you're going to see in the self-assessment. You're going to rank yourself, and from there on, you can take the rest of the process, ask those questions. The people are are well equipped to help you as an individual. But at the end of the day, it's all about you taking action. We can only bring you to the water. We can't make you drink the water. You have to take the responsibility for your own life, for your own well-being, and obviously your wellness. And that is how you're going to progress and do better for yourself. Some of the things that you can do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, when you start to monitor yourself, if we just look at your career, at the end of the day, ask yourself, did you accomplish something? Was it worthwhile to sit at your job and do what you were doing? If you look at your social well-being, some of the things that you can do, actions there, celebrate something that you know that went well with some of your friends and professional people that you partake with. In your finances, you can also celebrate if you achieve something there. If you get to some of your financial goals, do that as well. And then on your physical well-being, you must also have a positive outlook in the life and train on a regular basis. And in your environment, establish some partnerships with the community where you can work with some other people. So those are some of the things that we can do. And as we've said, you have to take the responsibility. It's really up to you. And you've got the roadmap. It's like your GPS on your phone. You just have to follow it, monitor yourself on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. And within 6 months' time, you will not believe where you're going to be. John, that is just from my side. Are there any questions from the audience or from you?
Yvonne, thank you very much. I'm gonna open up for questions now. If you can either unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can just type out the question in the comments. You're welcome for you on. You are welcome to do the quiz. There's a QR code and also the URL to the quiz. Complete that. We will compile the results and send it to you in the meantime. But any questions from anybody, you're welcome to ask. Doesn't seem like it. I see nothing changing. And there's one question. Musimanga, I see you unmuted.
Okay, good afternoon. No, I like the topic for today. And it's so relevant to me because I'm preparing myself for retirement. Now, the part that I must focus on is on the social, my role in the community. the partnerships that I need to increase. But with regard to the physical, the finances, I think I'm trying to work on those, but I would participate in the questionnaire. But what you're teaching us today is good because I invited my colleague. She's younger than me. If I got this information 30 years back, I could have been far in life. The only thing is that I'm left with 5 years in the career space. But thank you very much for this. It's so eye-opening. And it's also saying to my goals, how do I assess them? Where do I stiffen? I think the further engagements will assist us to say now, with the last 5 years that is left in my life, how do I try to move with speed? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nosimanga.
Nosimanga, I want to congratulate you that you are part of the discussion today, and it's never too late. I came across these things, and I think I'm your age. I'm also retired when I was in my middle 40s. So it's never too late to get exposure to these type of things. And who are you to say that you're not going to be here for the next 30 years? And just think what you can do in the community and the value that you can add in your community and your friends and even your old colleagues by taking up this challenge to make sure that your own well-being is in a place where you have all the energy, you're looking forward to the next day, and you're adding a lot of value to the people. But you are right. The first step is to do the assessment, and maybe you're going to be very surprised to see that you are not so bad off than maybe what you think. But that's the first step, and then we can take you by your hand and we can guide you and help you to get onto this new path and make sure that you've got a very well-being situation and add a lot of value to the community for the next 30 years.
Johan, thank you very much. Any other questions or remarks? For the remainder of the year, we will focus on the individual aspects of the different levels of well-being. Sometimes we will have a specialist or just somebody who's more of an expert on the field to talk on that. But you're welcome. We will please join us for next month's General Lunchtime webinar. And if there's no further questions, I'm going to sign off. My name is Jean van Biljon, General Blue Star and Genuel. We will see you again next month or maybe on campus. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.